Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Carlos D. I am an artist from Los Angeles, California. In this video, you're going to see some art. Sharing the screen with me this week and joining me again is my friend George. Thanks for taking the time to hang out, brother.
No problem, bro. Always a pleasure.
Cool, man. So, happy to be sharing the screen again. I'm going to be on the left-hand side. George is going to be on the right-hand side. What was your inspiration for this piece that you're working on, dude?
I mean, I always like Japanese art. That's always been my motivation. My first tattoo was actually a Japanese tiger on my left arm. So I
Awesome.
always gravitated towards that. It's always been very like bold and like cartoony. Then that's kind of
Okay.
like my style of art. You know.
Like it's kind of like a traditional Japanese
Yeah,
tattoos and
it's
stuff,
always
right?
fun to me. It's always I always have a good time doing it, and it's kind of hard to mess up. Just bold outlines, color. You can have fun with the colors. Like in this instance, I'm gonna do a blue uh, oni mask, which is a blue Japanese demon.
Awesome. And I think when it's funny that you say you can mess up. Really, when it's your own style, dude, there's no such thing,
Yeah, that's
right? I
true.
mean, it's if it would be one thing if you were making a copy, right? If I'm copying the Mona Lisa, or if I'm making a copy of a masterwork or something,
Yeah,
you could say I messed up here, I messed up there. But if it's your own thing, dude, like for me, there ain't no messing up, man. I'm just going with the flow, dude. I'm As you can see, like I'm mapping out
right.
these shades, right? One is bigger than the other. I can already tell, even when I was doing it, but I didn't care. I'm like, it's no.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just enjoying myself and just going into the flow.
In a lot of ways, I always thought about that. Like when people, that's why I don't do portraits, because that's when like people can really see like how good you are. If you can mimic a picture that you're looking at. And to me, that's like, oh damn, like what if I mess it up? And if I try to draw something that a lot of people know, like are like familiar with it,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they can really compare your drawing to.
Sure.
But if you're doing your own style, they can't really compare it. They could just point it like pinpoint it to you back
Mm-hmm.
to your art.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
um, Obviously the oni mask has been drawn millions of times by all kinds of tattoo artists and
Mm-hmm.
just regular people that like drawing, but this is my version of it. It's not really a traditional one. I think the face is a little longer. I haven't seen many blue ones either.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
like I said, like it's just me, like figuring out what to do,
Yeah.
and you
No.
could you could see it too. It's
It's cool that I mean, if you consider it longer than what an average one would look like, that I mean, that's like you're developing your style already.
yeah,
And just in that, just in the elongating of the generally it's a circle to start off the head, but you've done an oval,
right.
right? At least for me, generally when I start a head, even if it's portraiture or if it's just something that I'm creating out of my head, I start with a circle. But that's cool. You started with an oval, so that's
Yeah,
already for me. That's different. That's cool.
and I tell a lot of people, like a lot of times, drawing is shapes. It's pretty much
Yes.
mastering shapes.
Mm-hmm.
The better you are at drawing a shape, the better your art can come out. There's a lot of books that kind of teach you how to draw, and it all starts out with the circle, and then the lines in the middle, and then the rectangles, and the
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And eventually you end up with like the piece that you want. But learning when you want to start off anything is will just help you that much more.
Yes.
Kind of like a blueprint.
I think the good thing about the circle for me is like I'm judging the proportion, right? Depending on how big I want to make, if it's a head of a figure or a person or whatever, I make the circle and I'm like, okay, the face is gonna be formed around this here, so I should have enough space to the right, should have enough space to the left to fit the whole picture in there.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really positive thing about starting off with a shape, whether if it's a oval or a circle. You kind of gauge a little bit of how much surface area do I have to work with here, so I
Yeah.
don't draw things too close to one edge and I can't fit the ear over here.
Yeah.
So it's very helpful.
If you notice, I drew the outline of the frame, the one that exact,
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
I know I
Smart.
don't go out of
Smart,
the
man.
lines,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
can actually fit. That's pretty much how I've gotten managed to fit a lot of my artwork in my frames.
Right, right, because it's a
Um,
specific size of a
because
frame, yeah.
if I freehand it, it probably won't fit, and then that's happened to me a lot. I'm
It's
like,
tricky, yeah.
yeah, and I've done it before. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll draw it, and then I'll just like measure it, and I'll go to the store and I'll buy the stack frame. But
Mm-hmm.
there's no point sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, you can get things custom framed,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but that's
that's an extra step,
like
man.
9 by 12. Don't draw anything bigger than that, and
Sure.
then you'll be able to fit your piece.
And this is another 5x7.
Five
It
by
looks like it.
seven,
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. The small ones are fun to me, and like usually I use marker,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like less it's less ink that I have to use because those things are expensive and
Sure.
they dry out really fast.
I think for a portraiture, for uh, even a head, that's a good size, man. It looks cool.
Yeah, yeah,
It
just to
looks
have
cool
it.
at that kind of reduced size. It's not like the actual size of a person, because I think if you put an actual human, if you do it like 1 for 1, maybe like an 11 by 14, I think would be ideal.
Yeah,
But putting it like that, it's a cool fit, man. It's almost kind of like a trading card,
yeah.
um, of a size of a 5x7. So that's cool, man.
I like how we're both doing like teeth right now.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
very cool, very cool,
There's
interesting.
a Muse poster that I bought that looks kind of like what you're drawing. It's
Really?
like a wolf head with some sunglasses. I
Uh,
bought it at a concert. It was pretty sick. I actually
really?
framed it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to see it, dude.
Yeah, I'll send it
I
to you.
hope it's not exactly what I'm drawing, but
Nah. But are you doing a wolf?
well, so I did a wolf a couple weeks ago, right?
Okay.
From one of the videos, and I made that up. I just googled Wolfman for reference, and then I'm like, oh, I just want to make my own. Okay, cool. So I started, and I just created my own Wolfman. So that's totally my idea.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, I really like the way I did the teeth. Like,
yeah.
all I did for the mouth, I didn't put upper teeth or anything like that. I just gave him these like buck teeth from this
Right,
crazy underbite, but exaggerated him, kind of made him look kind of like a boar,
right.
right, like a warthog. And I'm like, that looked pretty cool. And then I had this idea of like, you'll see, I make an attempt to render it like chrome.
Mm.
So I'm like, I'm gonna give this fool a grill.
Okay.
So, and I remember the old school uh, Michael J. Fox Teen Wolf movie.
Mm.
Yeah, that dude had sunglasses in that, and it was like a hit movie and stuff. So I'm just like, oh, let me bring that in. So I don't want to draw the whole face, but I want to do a cool T-shirt design. So I'm just
Right.
gonna do the sunglasses and the grill,
Okay. That looks sick
and
already.
that's why I was just like, let me just work on this right here.
Looks very symmetrical.
I'm like, I think it'll do a cool design if that's the only two items that are there, just sunglasses and just the grill.
Okay. See, that's something that I've always had problems with. Um, is being symmetrical. That's
Mm,
why like a lot of my drawings are like slanted, facing the other way. I won't have to draw two things the same size.
sure.
Because I've tried, and there'll be like one big eye, one little eye.
Yeah.
Um, it takes a
Tricky.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun though.
More practice.
More practice.
And like I mentioned, they're not symmetrical. I do my best. You'll see. Like, I'll do a little bit of measuring, like freehand measuring with the pencil,
Yeah.
to see, okay, do I have the same distance from the arc of the nose, of the bridge of the nose there. But it's all I'm just winging it. I'm not taking any ruler to, I could, I suppose, if I wanted to, right? If I wanted to be more like an architect about it, then I could measure, okay, what's a good distance, and go from there.
Right.
But these designs that I'm doing, I really try to do a lot of freehand stuff. And you'll see another design that I do. Funny that you mentioned symmetry, is that I do kind of like a old school Gothic window, and
Yeah.
you know how they're like really ornamental.
Right.
Um, in one of the upcoming videos, you see how I'm measuring right there? I just did that. Just see the length of the pencil. Okay, is it even? Do I need to go a little to the left, a little to the right? But it's all freehand for the most part. But that other one where I do like the Gothic door, um, you'll see I just do the ornament thing on one side, get
Mm-hmm.
my tracing paper out, trace it, flip it, and just put it next to it, and then just do it by freehand also. So it appears kind of symmetrical, but there's imperfections,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is still cool because I like that. I like I
uh,
like the feel of like a handmade ornamental thing too. It looks
yeah.
real
Like
cool.
when you can tell, like it's kind of like when you go to a museum and then you kind of like you look at a portrait and then you try to like get close to it just to see the imperfections. You know, I like looking at that because I want to know that somebody really drew this. You know,
Sure.
because a lot of people are just too damn good, bro. You can't even tell like did a fucking computer do this or did an actual person
Mm-hmm.
like manage to get that much detail from their brain and
Yeah.
put it on like a painting.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is crazy. Um, Obviously, I'm not at that level yet, but the attention to detail that's really sick to me. You
I
know?
think those kind of situations happen when you just get lost, man.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just going, and it's just like, oh, there's another line, and oh, it leads to another one, and it leads to another one, and it leads to another, and
Yeah.
you're almost, like the old saying, you don't see the forest for the trees, so you're just paying attention to all the little trees, which are all the little connecting lines, and then when you take a step back, that's why in like an academic school, they're always emphasizing take a step back, work for about good like 5-10 minutes, and take a step back. Always take a step back.
I used to do that.
Oh, okay. It's
Yeah,
really
I
helpful.
used to
Really
do that a
helpful.
lot back in the day. I would do like a portrait and I would like put it across the room and I would look at
Good.
it
That's
and be
good.
like, does it look good? Because man, dude, like when I when I used to draw portraits, especially for like girls back in the day, I would and they get really offended, dude. Like if you draw them like the way you see them or a little off, like like does my nose that big? Is my face that chubby? I'm like, damn. You know what? It's kind of you have to be spot on when it comes
Yeah.
to portraits.
Sure.
But yeah, I used to put the portraits across the room. I would look at it. I would look at it from the side to side. I would go back, you work on it, make the
Mm-hmm.
faces a little slimmer. That's why
Yeah.
I like acrylic. You can mess up and then
Yep.
you
Go right
know,
over it.
go right over it and
Mm-hmm.
start again.
Yeah.
The little lines can be fixed. Um, for me, like marker is a little more permanent. You
It's
know,
less forgiving.
it's less forgiving.
Yeah.
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 There's a few. I found a few ways to really fix my mistakes, but sometimes it's
Sure.
just
I suppose you can go on
yeah,
top of it with acrylic, with an airbrush, with some
yeah,
color pencils,
yeah,
but you kind of now it becomes a mixed media thing as
yeah.
opposed to it all having that same touch of the marker.
Right.
So it's good points, man. Good points.
Yeah.
So here's another tip if anyone wants to consider. Aside from stepping back, it's real helpful to look at it in reverse through a mirror. Take a little
Mm.
handheld mirror, if you have one,
Yeah.
and from a distance, maybe 10 feet back or whatever, 6 to 10 feet, look at it that way. You see, um, things will pop up where you kind of feel like I need to add more information over here because for whatever reason you don't catch it looking at it in that perspective. But through the mirror, it kind of reveals a little something like, oh man, like there's not an I need to fill either more color or I need to add some information to this area over here specifically because the eye for whatever reason is just telling you that right away. Another thing which is really helpful, especially for realism, is using either your phone, black screen, or a black mirror. That it's really good for seeing the change of value, especially like in realism, right? You need to make the person look 3D, right? The head is an oval, you know,
Yeah.
for shorthand, right? The head is an oval, so the light is going to affect it a certain way. The arms are tubes, so okay, that light is going to affect it a certain way. And although it may look pretty okay while you're doing it, if you look at it through a black mirror or a cell phone with a dark screen, which is what I use, you can see like it needs to go even darker because it's not selling it.
Right.
Even though it looks good, like now you push it, and that pushing it extra darker, especially in the darks, it makes it pop more.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't catch that unless you use that black screen, because it almost forces you to exaggerate what you think you see,
Right.
which is helpful in
Yeah.
3D, in rendering 3D.
Yeah, there's
So
a lot of tricks.
a lot of little tricks, dude.
A lot
Yeah.
of little tricks, and that's what I like about art. Sometimes, the more you do it, the more you learn. Like, that's pretty important, you know.
Absolutely.
Doing this and that,
Yeah.
and the smudges, and the stepping back, and
Mm-hmm.
better lighting. You know, like for me,
Good point. Yeah.
a certain type of light is better too. Like the LEDs lights,
Mhm.
the little lights that I get. I like those better than the yellow.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, the
you
warmer
know,
ones. Yeah.
The warm, because
I agree. I agree.
my colors come out different. You
Yes,
know?
they do. Absolutely.
Especially Copic markers has these like really, like they'll have like 10 yellows, and you
Okay.
can't even really tell, you know. But if you really like put them under the light, you're like, okay, cool, this is
Yeah.
lighter.
Mhm.
You can use this one, this and this one. This one's more warm. You know,
Mhm.
it's just stuff like that, which is part of the process. You know,
Yeah.
learning how to really tell your colors apart. And I'm gonna do different shades of blue here too. So
Okay.
I'm already doing the marker, by the way. You see that big old smudge of
Oh, okay.
that's probably my hand, dude.
And with the blue, are you using different
Shades?
shades of blue, or is it the same one and you just like
No, well,
stack
I
it
start
up?
off like I start stacking kind of.
Okay.
I do it all one color,
Okay.
and then I'll do
You darken the darks, huh?
yeah, I darken the
Okay.
darks and stuff. I think I'm already doing some blue right
Oh,
there.
off camera.
Yeah.
Oh,
Off
okay.
camera, yeah.
Uh,
I can't
it's
really tell.
interesting. It's interesting how depending on, and that's one of the reasons why I would just want to try as many processes as I can, because in pen and ink, uh, like um, I feel like if I wanted to stay away from rendering something 3D, what ends up happening is there's just like you were saying, shapes. There's just shapes of black,
Mhm.
which is what would be in the shadow.
Yeah.
But you
Oh.
also need to use black to give detail.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool play on basically zeros and ones, right?
Yeah.
Blacks and whites. That's it. And I really like that. So that's why I've been trying all this pen and ink stuff a lot more.
I need to learn how to use that. That is that a mechanical pencil that you're using?
Yes.
I need to learn how to use that.
Now this one right here, it's a 2H. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's an H. I like that one because it allows me to stay light, but then if I press a little harder, I can get some dark lines. But those are really good to use if you're gonna do what in academic studies called the bark drawings. The bark drawings are basically it's a course where you can really see the amazing, beautiful effect of using only graphite. Like the portrait that I did of myself,
Yeah.
I did that only in graphite, and you can literally pull off like an airbrush looking finish. I went to a figure drawing class once here in Lancaster, and I gave a sticker to one of the guys that was there. He's like, "Oh, you do airbrush too?" And I was like thanks for the compliment, but no, dude, that's all pencil. And he was like, "What?" I'm like, yeah, man, you could really pull off some amazing things just with graphite. You could pull off an effect of like airbrush, man.
Dude,
But
that
you just
looks
got to go in
good.
there picking off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just being in the zone and picking off all the dots that don't belong and making
Yeah.
all the dots the same color. So it's really cool, man. It's a really nice effect.
Yeah, I think I thought the same thing. I didn't know it was pencil
Yeah, dude.
at first.
That's
I think
pencil.
you mentioned that it was pencil. I was like, what? Like,
It's a really nice effect. Time consuming, but
yeah. And
It's-
you know
it's
what?
nice.
That's another thing that I like these little fuckers is that I get to do it and not commit too much time to it. You know, I would.
That's a good
I
feeling.
always think about like my big piece. You know, like when am I gonna really like take a whole day to complete something?
Yeah, 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 man.
But these are like quick. You know, I do them quick, and then it's like, oh, cool, I can finish it in an hour or two,
Mm-hmm.
and look at the results. But I know that sometimes the best stuff takes a lot of time. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I think
I need to find
depending.
something that I can work on for a long time. Um,
That's that would be you know, discovering something else about yourself, man. You know,
yeah,
just being in the grind, and knowing that the end is way out there.
yeah,
You just in so to go back to the Barg drawings, those things take such a long time, dude. Sometimes a week and a half to 2 weeks to finish. That for me, while I was doing them, um, it just felt like, man, this is awesome that I'm doing this.
yeah.
When a lot of my peers that were working on theirs also, like they were in a rush, they just wanted to finish it, and I'm like, hey, you're not enjoying what you're doing, like.
And I know that feeling, you know,
Mm,
when you want, you kind of want to see the end result, and sometimes you're just doing it just to do it. But what I've learned too is like take your time, be patient, enjoy the process, enjoy the
that's
work.
it. Enjoy the process,
You
man.
know,
That's
enjoy
it.
the work because that the work um, is what really makes you an artist. You know, the work, the little steps, the learning. You know, if
I think that'll be definitely the difference between um, uh, I think you would be able to see something rushed in the finish.
yeah.
Like there's something about that that seems a little rushed versus the person that took their time to
And I've
to pay attention to the little details.
done it myself. I've have plenty of pieces that I took my time on, and they come out really good. And then I feel like this one is a little rushed, because it was a small piece. I
Oh,
was like, "Oh, I
okay.
just want to finish it, you know. I didn't have really an idea. Like right there, I'm just improvising, you
Oh,
know,
okay, cool.
adding shadows that like I was kind of creating myself. Um, but there's times where like I really like I have this vision in my head like for 2 or 3 days, and then I want to
Mm-hmm.
execute it. Like one of my next pieces, dude, is gonna be I kind of want to do a psychobilly rat, you
Sweet.
know, or a frog
Cool.
playing like a stand-up bass. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I just know that like it's in my head right now.
Gotcha.
You
Right
know,
on, dude.
it's one of my next pieces.
Do you do many sketches before like completing a
Sometimes
piece?
I don't, to be honest. Sometimes I just go at it because what happens is like I'll start I do have a lot of sketches, but I haven't as of lately. To me, it's just been like I can do it. I'm gonna do a whole drawing out of it. You know.
Okay.
Um, but I think I should start doing that little private sketches.
You know
Um,
what?
little book.
Personally, this sunglasses and grill that I'm doing,
Yeah.
this is this is the third time I'm drawing it.
Oh, really?
I did two sketches, and uh, I actually prefer like I think on the second sketch I did a different shape for the shades. So I think it's a big plus, dude, to do a couple little sketches, man. And for me, like I've mentioned before, if anyone has seen the video that I mentioned, the dry erase board, so that's my sketchboard for large pieces. On like this one here, I did do it on paper, the shades and the grill. I did the other two on paper,
Right.
but because I'm just like, let me see how if you know, I wanted to work on this chrome effect that I wanted to give the grill. So I rendered that different ways, and then I'm just like, cool. I think this one probably sells it the best, in my opinion. But my dry erase board, dude, man, I'm like just going at it there, man. Just one sketch. Okay, cool. I like that idea, and then I'll draw it again. So now before I think these last 4 or 5 artworks that I've done, I've drawn them at least like 3 times before I actually like record the video.
And you know what? I lied.
Small.
I did draw this. I did sketch it, and then like I scratched it, and then I turned it over,
Oh.
and then I did that. So if you if you take this drawing out of the frame, you'll
Oh,
see
it's on
the
the
sketch
backside.
in the back.
Oh, right
Because I
on.
did that one fast, and I was like, wait, I don't like that. It looked too much like a chile in
A
Chile.
little
So I was
jalapeno.
like a jalapeno. So I was like, nah, I don't like that. I'm gonna make it a little.
And that's the thing, bro, because you see little things that you want
Yeah.
to change or and in like for me for what I did, right? I did three. Well, this is the third one, the final one that I'm doing on it. So I outlined a size area myself. You see, mine is an 11 by 14 size, and uh,
Is that paper or what kind of?
this is paper. Yeah, it's the
Oh,
same
okay.
Bristol board,
Bristol. Okay.
and it's a large one. They're larger than 18 by 24.
You know
They're
what?
larger than that.
I wanted to ask you. Do you know a lot about paper?
Um,
Because okay,
in what context? What do
okay,
you
because
mean?
I bought these. Uh, what is it? What's that brand? Carson.
Canson.
Canson.
Canson. Yeah.
Okay, so I bought these Canson marker papers. They were like the pro. They were a little more expensive too.
Okay.
And dude, I cannot work with that. Like the marker would just slide off. Like it was just too slick.
Uh,
It wasn't really absorbing too much of the marker. I feel like these, you have to go over it like a few times for you to get any kind of real. And it's marker paper as well. It's just thicker. The
okay.
other ones were really thin, and I don't know
Mm.
if anybody else had that problem.
Well, every brand, um, both for Canson and um, I forget the name of the other main one.
There's like a Stratton,
Yeah, Strathmore.
Strathmore.
So those they'll have generally two two types per media. For
Okay.
example, uh, bristle board. They'll have either fine or it's called something else where the paper will be kind of like toothy,
Mm.
like it's not smooth, right? So they'll have the smooth,
Yeah.
and then they'll have the more coarse paper. You can buy individual sheets of Canson, which is what we would use to do the bark drawings, because they're more like they could take the beating of you like really
Yeah.
like putting the graphite on there.
Right.
Um, but those come in different textures also. Some come in like smooth, uh, ultra smooth, and some are like coarse or they call them like heavy, heavyweight.
Yeah.
So you would I suppose you would just have to experiment to see which one you like the best in texture and in feel, right? And in results.
I
You
know
just got to play around, I guess.
a lot of like tattoo artists, they'll use that cold pressed
Okay.
paper. I've never felt what it feels like, the texture or anything. I just know that a lot of them like, and it's expensive too.
Mm,
Last time I saw it for like $60 for like 20 pages.
okay.
You know, so
You know what? I mean, if you have the budget for it, I say give it a shot, man. Figure out, see what is it about it that it's $60 worth.
just
I
gonna have to grab and go, bro.
I can only assume that there's a reason why it's $60, man. It's probably really nice, you know.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, I've been meaning to pull the trigger on it, but I'm always like, damn, that's a lot of money just to spend on paper, you know? Because these pads are usually like $13, and you get like 40 sheets, you know? And
Yeah, I think for the most part they're reasonably priced. The
I
big
have
packs
a lot,
of them, the
dude.
big
I have like,
booklets.
I don't know, like 15 marker pads different types of paper, you know, that have the small ones, big ones, have books that I've like almost filled up with drawings, you know.
Okay.
I told you about my Cartoon Network book, right? Well, I have one just dedicated to
I think you mentioned
all
something.
Cartoon Network
Okay,
fucking
that's cool, man.
characters. It's pretty cool.
Have you ever tried using watercolor paper?
I
Like
have,
they have they come in packs, right? And
Yeah.
they're like all like gummed together.
yeah.
You tried that?
Um, I have not, but you know what? I did buy watercolor paper, but I just don't know how to use watercolor. You know why I bought it? Because I was trying to use Indian ink, that black,
Okay.
really black,
Yeah.
and it kind of what's that? It's like if you water it down, it creates like a yellowish tint.
Of an ink?
Yeah, you know,
Oh, sepia
yeah, it
is a
kind of,
common one. Okay.
yeah. I did Nosferatu,
Oh, cool.
um, with the little castle, just all black and that color. It was pretty cool.
All right.
Nosferatu. I said it wrong, paisa.
You know what? Have you seen the Rob Zombie remake of the Monsters?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
it was pretty sick. Yeah.
I loved the look of it. I just felt like the story was a little kind of it felt like there was more because it ended with them beginning their new life. I
Yeah.
feel like right like they bought the house or whatever and then they're gonna start living in this new town.
Yeah.
But then it's like I don't know if there's a part two to it, but the build up to it was decent. I liked it. I don't think at least from the Herman Munster like the one that's the most popular one, right? The popularly known one. You can't top that dude. That dude is just iconic. But overall, I really liked it. I liked the whole aesthetics of it. It was really cool.
I'm a fan of his movies and his music. He makes badass music.
I think he should be touring this
Oh, really?
year. Yeah, I think he's Rob Zombie's lined up to do at least one festival. I'm not sure which one, but I recall seeing his name.
I
on
wouldn't
online.
mind seeing his concert. You know.
I never got into his music, but the songs that I would hear that were popular, I thought they were cool. But
Right.
I just didn't follow along.
You know which movie I saw? Probably like 2 weeks ago.
What's up?
Suspiria. Have you seen that movie?
Oh, the Italian.
Yeah, but there's a
horror.
remake now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it came out like 2017, I think.
Who was the director?
I'm not sure, dude, but it was probably one of the craziest movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, that one.
Did you see the first
I
first
saw
original?
the original one. That one is like old school, like
How-
they're kind of cheesy, kind of like horror pop up screens, you know, like the pop up scares. It's kind
Okay.
of cheesy to me. I watched it with some girl like a long time ago.
The OG one.
Yeah, you know.
So the new one,
The new one is crazy, dude.
really?
Yeah,
Mm.
it's up there with that movie Hereditary. To me, and Hereditary is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen.
I've never heard of it.
You never seen Hereditary?
Mm-mm.
Do you like scary movies?
Uh, I, I like horror movies. I haven't kept up with them in a while,
Okay.
but I mean, the classics are my favorite. So the modern stuff I haven't really kept up with too much.
Oh, okay. So
This Hereditary is a modern movie,
yeah,
like in the 2000s.
yeah. That one is.
Who directed it? Do you know?
I don't know, dude.
I follow
I'm
that
pretty-
stuff, dude. For me, like a director,
directors?
if it's a good producer, if
Mhm.
there's a good soundtrack to it, it gives me more of a boost to want to go see it.
Watch it,
Because
bro.
there's some art, some real artistry behind of like particular directors or
Right.
or
So, the reason why I like that movie a lot, and I've talked to a lot of people that like that movie as well.
okay.
It's that weird. It's that weird line where they cross where like it's like the occult, you know, like
Okay.
a weird cult going on. People know about something that's happening that's beyond this world. And
Are
they're
there
keeping it a secret.
are there any known actors or actresses?
Yeah. The main the mom, she's a known actor. I don't know her name. I'm not too good with that stuff. To be
Okay.
honest, I'm not too big on celebrities.
Okay.
But I would
Well, for
recommend-
me, I ask because that too, man. There's an artistry in
Yeah.
in being a good actor or actress
right.
that drives me to be like, okay, cool, man. I'm interested. Like, you know,
Okay.
I think I you know, I enjoy certain parts that I've seen them in other films, so I'll go follow along.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, like if there's one movie I would recommend to anybody that likes horror movies, is that one and Suspiria.
Okay.
Those two movies have been the ones that are like, I'm like, damn, like that was.
Do you know if there are on any
I think
platforms on
Suspiria is on Amazon Prime,
the new one?
the new one.
Okay. And Suspiria is on Tubi for anybody that knows about Tubi.
Yeah.
The OG one is on
Oh, really?
Tubi. Yeah,
Okay.
it's on Tubi.
Um, I haven't seen the OG one on Amazon Prime, but for sure they have the new one,
Okay.
and that one's the same thing, like a cult.
You know what? Speaking, it's man, interesting that you brought this stuff up of old films. I just yesterday saw, um, oh my goodness, I don't remember the title of the film, but it's done by that UK studio that used to do all those horror films back in the day, and the actor is the dude that played the one of the generals in Star Wars. Like if anyone knows, and if anyone's a movie buff, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about. It's this British dude that has like real like in a way kind of like a sunken in face, like you can really see the features, like especially his cheekbones, like the zygomatic arch, like you really see the features on him. But that actor, he was a part of a studio where in the UK, man, these guys were just forking out like horror films, horror after horror after horror after horror,
Yeah.
and that studio is very well known. And I saw one of the films that he's a detective in,
Mhm.
of a scientist whose daughter, he turns her into like a moth, and she's like a walk. It's cool, man. It's those '60s horror,
Yeah.
just like Suspiria, like that aesthetic, man. And they're so old school, and they're like Victorian, wearing Victorian stuff,
Right.
in that era. It's cool, man. It's fun to follow along, and
Yeah.
it's almost like a detective, story, but it's a horror theme because she's like it, instead of having a vampire, let's say, it's a moth,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's really cool, dude. It's really cool, and I recommend it, man. I can't remember the name of the damn movie. The Monster on some, I don't remember, but fantastic though, on Tubi.
Another crazy, crazy movie that I just recently saw was The Thing.
With John
The-
Carpenter's thing, or the
remake,
OG?
though. It's not, I saw the OG one. That one's really good, but the new,
Well,
it's like a 2016
okay,
version of it.
so there was one before John Carpenter,
Oh, really?
and then John Carpenter made his The Thing, which I have on Blu-ray, man. I love that movie.
Okay. So
And
have you
then
seen
and
the
then there is,
remake?
I have not seen the remake. No.
Dude, that one is crazy, bro. Like, I think
I'll give it a shot. I think I'll give it a
give
shot.
it a shot, dude.
But I know it's got like CG, like more
but
CG,
but it
right?
looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
I'll-
look all like chalky,
Okay.
like all like.
I'm a man. John Carpenter's my guy, man.
Yeah.
I love that dude.
That's the first movie I saw.
Okay.
Then I saw the old one, because I had.
Oh,
to
really?
See, yeah. I saw the remake.
Oh, okay.
And then I saw the OG.
Yeah,
version.
the John Carpenter one.
Yeah, that
man.
one is it's cool because it's like you can tell like they're working with like prosthetics.
Yeah,
and,
man.
all
I
that
love all
fake
that stuff, dude.
which is cool. Which is kind of what made the 80s. and the
Absolutely,
90s,
man.
Like,
It's so, like for me, when it comes to film, I want to see the kind of movie, like don't convince me that it's real. Like I don't care. Like
Yeah.
don't try to convince me that it's real. I'd rather see puppets. I'd rather see makeup. I'd rather see generic props, and I'd rather see like you know um, just old school stunts.
right.
Because I kind of feel like it's theater. If I was at the theater, I wouldn't see any CGI or very little, maybe some light effects or something. But I would see
Right.
props. I would see people in costume. I would see, you know, fake blood squirting around or whatever, as opposed to CG stuff. Which I get it. It's times. It's the times. But man, I'm classic, dude. I love this classic stuff, man.
And I think that's where they're messing up. I've always said this. Back in the day, they used to make movies to scare kids. Now they're trying to scare adults, and it's like we don't buy it, bro. We see all,
That's an interesting point, dude.
We don't like. I can go watch a movie. They're like, oh, best horror movie of the year, and it's like you're like, that wasn't that bad. Like that wasn't that crazy, It wasn't scary to me, but I'm sure to a little kid, he's probably saying the same thing. But back in the day, what I was scared of is like Chucky.
Yeah, man.
Dude, that shit scared the fuck out of me. And I know that those guys made it for kids, you know, because it's like a good guy, you know. It's kind of like the naughty movie you're not supposed to watch.
Yeah.
And
That's a good point,
we're all
dude.
watching it.
That's a
You
good
know,
point.
we're all
I know I
watching it.
saw it as a kid, man.
I did
I,
too. Like,
I, I mentioned it to my cousin, and I think the first chat that he and I had, the first session, that my dad took us to see that at the theater, bro. We saw a double feature. We saw Darkman
yeah.
and Chucky. I mean, man, I was like,
Dude,
dude, that was creepy,
I saw
man.
Blood In Blood Out like 8 years old. My mom would be pissed,
Oh
bro.
man.
But all those movies, it's which is a different topic, obviously. But
Yeah.
um, I saw Chucky. I saw was it Candyman?
Yep.
You know, all
The Texas Chainsaw I
Texas
saw.
Chainsaw Massacre. I was scared of that guy too.
And of course John Carpenter's Halloween. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing topping that, dude.
And then people were legit like scared of Michael Myers. Jason.
I mean, creepy, bro.
Yeah,
It
dude.
was like you free. Like I don't know if I want to walk at night anymore, man.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
now it's like they remake them and it's corny. You know.
You know, I recall seeing the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, I liked it. I'm like, damn, that's cool, dude. That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay, cool. I saw it again sometime last year, and it felt a little like like the camera was on him too much, especially towards the end where Laurie's like running from him or whatever, and he's like
Right.
trying to. I just felt like that was like too it was drug out for too long.
Yeah.
But of course the classic John Carpenter's Halloween 1 and 2, man. I mean,
You can't beat those.
Those are
movies,
outstanding,
even
man.
like the Freddy Krueger movies.
Absolutely, dude. That's another one.
That's
Yep.
one of those movies that like really had a hold on you as a kid.
And even their soundtracks, right? Like
yeah,
like
yeah.
you hear that soundtrack, you're like, oh hell no, man.
Dude,
You know,
yeah.
turn the
And
lights
it's
on.
such a classic.
Right.
That builds such a following behind it. Which I really like.
Same here. Yeah.
Um,
Very enjoyable movies, dude.
But like I said, like these new movies are coming out. Like it's like one out of the two that are like impressive, and they actually have like a good like horror feel to it. Like the one I'm looking forward to right now is the Evil Dead 2, the new one that's gonna come out.
Man, hold on. Evil Dead?
Yeah.
So Evil Dead, and then what's the other movie that was basically the Evil Dead 2 but is really the Evil Dead 1 remake? Like those are so confusing, dude.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi, right, was the director.
Right.
It's Army of Darkness.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I haven't seen that one.
it's strange. It's basically Evil Dead 2,
Okay.
I think. Because there's Evil Dead and then there's Evil Dead 2, but it seems like the same movie. I know there's something to that. I'm probably getting this all wrong, but there's something to that where the first two films was literally the same film, but they just had like more money or something like that,
Right.
or did different effects. But then the sequel to that was Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
So he goes into whatever the Book of the Dead or whatever, like into that realm,
Yeah.
and he kind of fights his way out of there.
I need to
So
watch
so
that
there
movie
so
then.
there's gonna be, and then there was the series, right? The Evil Dead series.
Yeah, there was. They made a few movies, right?
I don't know.
I think they went, like,
I'm not
3 or
sure,
4,
dude.
dude.
I didn't really keep up with those. I know those had like a cult following. I didn't really get into it too much. I remember seeing them, but
did
it
you
didn't
watch
really.
the remake, the one that recently came out,
No.
The Evil Dead?
No.
That one, I think,
The
is
a movie,
really good.
a
bro.
movie, not the series.
No, it's a movie.
It's a movie?
They
Okay.
remade the Evil Dead, the first one, when they go into the cabin. and
Oh
the
my
girls
goodness,
trap-
bro! That sounds like the third one that they've done that way.
Oh, man,
I'm
but
telling
this-
you, watch,
Yeah.
watch. Do some research on it. You're gonna laugh, but
that's a okay. That I've said that's a good movie. I like that movie.
okay.
It gets
But
really
it's
dark
new.
at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. At the end, it gets really like
Okay.
demonic, bro.
Okay.
It's crazy. And so does that movie Suspiria. At first, it starts like a. I'm not gonna burn it for you, but if you are gonna watch it,
I'm gonna watch it, dude.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it
Okay.
because I like the old school one. So I'll
Okay.
give it a shot.
Do you know what it's about then, right?
You know what I saw it ages ago.
Okay.
Um,
It's,
I have to catch up on
basically
it.
like witches.
Yes, 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 yes.
They're witches and they're in a cult. Like nobody
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
knows about it
Yes.
until like you infiltrate, you go in.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But that one it gets very very dark at the end, dude. It's
Okay.
crazy. And so does Hereditary. You need
Okay.
to watch Hereditary.
All right.
All right.
Is that on any?
Hereditary? I don't know because it's a lot of people really like that movie and they kind of get stingy when it comes to movies that really a lot of people fuck with.
So it's but it's not on You don't have it on DVD or anything?
I bought it. It's I have it on my iPad.
Mm.
Yeah, I bought it.
Okay.
Um,
So it's through like Apple TV or something?
yeah, you
Okay.
can rent it though. You can rent any movie for like $2 or $3.
Okay.
Especially like an older movie. I know Hereditary came out a few years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago maybe. But Suspiria should be free though. But man, you have to watch those movies.
Cool, cool.
I also saw this weird Russian movie like 3 days ago, bro. It's called Baskin.
Who's in it? Do you know?
It's just a bunch of like Russian actors, bro. It's in
okay.
Russia. It's not in English.
Oh, okay.
You
It's
have to-
subtitled?
It's subtitles.
Oh.
But it got recommended to me, and it was kind of creepy, but I didn't really see the point of it.
Okay.
Yeah. I give those movies a shot though, 'Cause
Okay.
I kind of want to like I'm into that stuff and I want to see if there's any movies out there that I'm like wow like if they ever make a remake, I want to have seen the original. First,
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, so getting back to the thing, which one did you like better?
The remake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one that I saw, well, I didn't see it first, but the original one,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun
Yeah.
because you're just like, wow, that looks pretty fun. Like just you can imagine them having fun with all the
Yeah.
crazy effects that they're trying to put out. But
It was kind of on the level of Alien, like the first movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
the second one is just so bizarre, dude. Because they actually you could tell they're trying to be really really serious about it. It's like they're in Alaska, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Antarctica.
Antarctica, I believe.
Antarctica, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like more of a serious movie.
Really?
And then, obviously, like one of them gets infected, and then they're like trying to act normal, but they're actually already like the alien themselves.
Okay.
Because that's what goes down, right? They try to act like normal people.
Yeah,
And
they oh, in the John Carpenter one, they try to hide that they're infected.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
The alien tries to infiltrate them, and then out of nowhere, like this freaking hand comes off, and it's like turning into like this weird, So it's crazy like that.
That reminds me of an anime called Lily Cat.
Really cat.
It's pretty much an alien like type of movie.
Mhm.
People are in outer space. They get woken up for hypersleep, and something is infected with some alien, that does that kind of the thing to the biology of the people. But it's an anime. It's interesting. It's an anime. It's on Tubi.
Speaking of aliens, what do you think about all this UFO stuff that's going on right now?
Ah, man, dude, I have no idea, man.
You think it's like a government cover up, or you think they're actually here? Because
I don't really know what to make of it, man.
you haven't really been keeping up with it.
No, is there more news popping up about stuff or what?
Okay, so the Pentagon released like a few articles on like unidentified flying objects that they found so far within the years, and they actually have like in-depth descriptions of them. So
Okay, I think I've listened to just a couple of Joe Rogan episodes where
and then
where
they
he
have,
touches
like,
on that stuff,
a
right?
few guests that are like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I try to reverse engineer like this. and that.
Right.
And
The most
then-
popular one being Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Which I did see that Joe Rogan podcast show, and I did see the Bob Lazar documentary. You saw it, as
I
well?
didn't see the documentary. I just
Okay.
saw the episode. There's that other guy, Captain. I forgot what he is, but he's like the head of the fleet that that kind of tried to track the Tic Tac UFO.
Okay.
That would they would like follow it around, and then it would just shoot down right next to the ocean, and it would just shoot back up.
Hmm.
They actually have a video of it.
Right, and
Yeah,
it's like those military
yeah,
cameras, right?
like black and white. You know, you
Okay.
can't really. It looks like an ultrasound.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I don't know, man.
yeah.
I think personally, from seeing the Bob Lazar having his conversation with Joe Rogan, and even in the documentary, I think we've touched on this before, but to me, it appears that he's genuine. Like judging by his body language, judging by his the words that he uses, and the truth comes out fast. The truth always comes out fast.
Right.
It's when people start trying to be, uh, they're trying to deceive, that you have to come up with the next deception and the
Right.
next deception and the next deception, and there's usually a little bit of stuttering and this and that. But this dude was just answering questions, bam, 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 answering questions, and his memory seems to be pretty consistent based on what he said years ago and based on what he's said most recent. For me, I'm like, man, this dude, he's telling the truth,
Right.
or what he perceived to be truth. I think he's telling the truth. What did he really see? I have no idea.
And Eddie Bravo brought that up. He said, because he's a big like conspiracy nut, you know.
Yes, yeah.
And what he said was like, you know what, I'm starting to believe that they purposely um, threw him off. They did that on
Mhm.
purpose because they knew that he was gonna tell the world.
Mhm.
So they set him up.
That's an interesting take. I
You
think
know?
I think I've contemplated that train of thought myself. It seems plausible, right? One train of thought that I came upon in thinking about that was that, what if, um, maybe it's a big like sound stage, right? And it's really props that are a prop department that has made all this stuff, but anyone that they bring in, they say, or have little leaks, right? Like they have um what are like double agents or whatever, but
Right.
dudes that hang out at the cafeteria and be like, hey, yeah, I know where they got those from over here. I work this department. They got the word is that they got them from here.
Right.
This is all that, and that they work like this, they work like that. Well, Bob Lazar says that he saw one actually functioning, that it lifts up, it goes, basically does like a 90-degree turn, and then it's literally floating, and then it takes off like crazy high speed. I don't know what the heck that was all about, but if I think it would be an ingenious attempt for somebody to get a technological jump ahead of everyone else out there that's in the same race. But if you were to tell somebody that technology already exists,
Right.
it already exists. You've seen it work, right? Remember, you saw the lift up and it did this and it took off. It's anti-gravity. It already exists. Figure out how to do it. It already exists. So if that idea is sunk in the mind of a person that understands physics and whatever rocket science takes to more than likely achieve that result, that's pretty genius, man. To convince somebody that something already exists, and like you got to figure it out, bro, because you got the smarts to do it. But don't talk to that guy and don't talk to that guy. You do your part, they'll do their part, and collectively, the higher ups will put everything together, and we'll be ahead of the space race.
Yeah, you might be right.
I don't
Maybe
know.
China figured it out before us, and we put people to try to figure it out for us to try to catch up to them. But maybe what we're seeing right now is China's finally rolling out those unknown objects
Like
that
their
we don't.
prototypes
Yeah,
or
they're
something, huh?
prototypes because they're making it over here. You know,
The balloons.
the balloons, but the thing that the strange part is like the balloons made it here, right? But the the objects that they shot down, they don't want to disclose what they were.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't
Oh,
want to
I
say
didn't know
what they
that.
were. Like
Oh.
it took for like a week for them to say like, we shot it down. We're still like trying to figure out what it was.
Mm,
So if
kind
it
of
was a
fishy.
balloon, they would have said, "Oh, so here's a balloon.
Right.
There's a fucking picture of it."
Sure.
You know.
Kind of fishy.
But
Who knows,
it's
man? Who knows,
who
dude?
knows, man.
You know what? In other conversations I've had with my brother and with Octavio,
Yeah.
we've discussed the topic of, well, life out there, right, in the universe. Um, as far as we know, and it may be like we haven't even scratched the surface of the universe to even determine, uh, like, at what point are we gonna encounter somebody. Well, Octavio was making a good point. He was saying um, that we've only sent out like radio signals or whatever in a small little dent, like we haven't even dented the universe.
Oh, dude.
And my take on that was like, yeah, but I mean, it's a bit strange that we haven't received anything coming in, and nobody's responded to anything going out, and we have telescopes looking for all this stuff, like planets and all this stuff. And although that it's very probable that there's life out there, when you multiply anything against infinity, the probability is always going to exist.
Yeah.
And even 100 million years from now, we still haven't found anything. The probability times
Exists.
infinity is
Yeah.
still going to be greater than us being the only ones here on this planet in life. I have no idea. I have no idea. Personally, I think it would be cool to meet somebody from another galaxy, another solar system.
Right.
I think that would be freaking awesome. My first question would be like, what kind of music do you guys listen to? Like, what instruments do you guys play? Like, let me hear some of your stuff. Um, but who knows, man? Who
Judging
knows,
by the
man?
pictures they've showed us about like how many galaxies there really is, I think it's possible. I just feel like it's just too. Either they're watching us like a zoo exhibit, they're just kind of like, I'm not gonna go in there, I'm gonna let them do them, and they're not. Cause come on, if you really think about it, as a country right now, we're so divided. We still haven't figured it out. Why would they want to come and interact with us?
Well, and that this question, I've discussed it before as well. Think about, we have humanitarian um, uh, organizations that go out and help those needy. Who could be more needy than a bunch of monkeys, shooting rockets at each other, of an advanced civilization?
Right.
Personally, I think if there was an advanced civilization, I think that they would see the value in making themselves known and making themselves known to be superior, and to come down and really check everybody. Like, all you fools need to calm down. Start trying to see how you can um, become more one with the planet than making just a bunch of trash. I think there would be great value in that. I don't think that an advanced civilization would just kind of like sit back and watch. That's just me. I don't see that. I don't think that it'd be just like a reality TV. I think that if an advanced civilization was more advanced, that they would want to get involved and say, hey, everybody just calm down. We can help.
That that idea might be a very human idea, though. You know what I mean? Because we have compassion and all that towards each other, and we have obviously other
I,
issues.
yeah, but I think that is a consequence of self-awareness.
Right.
If anything is a self-aware being, I think you have to think of, um, I don't want pain, I don't want suffering.
Yeah.
That the natural instinct of life is to live, to remain alive as long as possible. And for all other animals, they do that instinctively. We just have self-awareness as humans, as self-aware beings. So
Right.
we are like, we can avoid that. We're not going to do that. We can avoid that drama, even psychological stresses. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather do this. I think that's a consequence of being self-aware. Is a desire not to experience drama.
Right. I, and I also think about like we already dropped 2 atomic bombs on another country. They kind of, if they are real, they sat back and watched it. You know what I mean? And what about like the Holocaust? You know, and stuff like that. Times where
That's a great argument, dude. That's a great argument. I think that if they have been around this long since then, through that, I suppose that they would have to outlive a human life, right? They would have to live long enough to have seen all that, and chose not to do anything. Um, then, man, well, there's your answer, dude. We're just a freaking science experiment,
experiment, dude.
yeah.
That's the thing. Like,
Or we're just an attraction, or
I
a
think
television
they don't
channel.
even want to interfere with us. Maybe our government, because those are the ones that really know, you know. And maybe not. Maybe they're just as clueless as us, you know. But I'd say they probably do know a lot more than we think, and we
In regards to like extraterrestrial life.
yeah,
Mm.
they probably know, and they're just like we can't even.
Let's what if you were to brainstorm that? What do you think the value of withholding that information would be?
Religion.
Mm.
I feel like um, that would change a lot of people's minds about, let's say, like Jesus is the Almighty Creator, but then you have aliens that might have created the Earth. I think that they've used religion to really try to keep the peace within us, even though we fight about that too. You know, we fight
That's the
about
number one
everything,
cause, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, we fight about everything.
That's the number
you
one
know?
cause.
We fight about
Yeah, anything that divides is going to cause
anything,
friction.
You know?
Yeah.
We're not united as we would like to be. There's always like red and blue.
Very true. Very true.
You know, and I don't think they would. I don't think we can handle that. That knowing that.
You know what? I've contemplated that as well, and I think that um, personally, I have no idea. I have no idea, right? I guess the president himself doesn't even have clearance for Area 51. Like they don't even let that.
Is that
like,
real?
Yeah, you have to have. You can't just be. You can't just chill for 4 years, 8 max, and have that kind of information or have that kind of clearance. Like they can, like, he can't just roll up and be like, "Let's go check it out." Like, nah, bro, you're just temporary. The president of the United States is just temporary, dude. It's just a temporary job.
So then, who really runs the country? You know, that's what I always wonder too. Like,
Well, not necessarily Area 51 is what runs the government.
No. But
Right.
like, who's in charge of knowing the real way the U.S. works?
The Illuminati, bro.
No, but
it's you know, it's speculated that it's like the electoral college people or whatever, like the people behind the scenes, really, the industries of America. It's almost like they're the NFL. Yeah, Roger Goodell is you know the commissioner of football or whatever his title is.
Right.
That's like the president. Like bro, you're just here so that somebody points a finger at somebody, but we're running it, right? All the owners are the ones running it. I'm sure there's a group of people running like really running the United States government.
Yeah.
But it seems like, you know what, for me, dude, to be honest, I would ask this question to anybody. How did George W. Bush change your life?
Yeah.
How did Obama change your life? How did Bill Clinton change your life? How did maybe small ways here and there, but the president, for me, I suppose they change prices here and there of gas every now and then, but I mind my own business, dude. I've never met a president, and no president has ever really had anything, you know.
No, you're right.
To affect
it's
me
like
that directly.
Like, there's so many things you can be pissed off, like oh, you really, you know, they're letting these kids do this now and this, you know, it's like all that stuff is just to throw salt on your soul, you know.
I suppose, because
it's like, why
it doesn't really matter.
Sometimes, like, I laugh at it. Somebody sends me something like, Joe Biden doing this, and I'm like, I just kind of laugh at it. Like, well, whatever,
Yeah,
bro.
man. I
Like,
mean,
they're gonna do whatever they want to do at the end of the day, and I have no fucking say in it. Even if I became some kind of politician,
that's what it seems to be for what the 95% of humanity or the 95%
we
of
have no say
Americans.
in it, bro. It's just
We think we do,
we think we
right? We
do
think we do.
because
They let us vote here and there, but like,
you're
come
really
on, bro.
voting,
Do you
but
really see the results of all this
yeah,
stuff?
yeah,
And having said all that, life is good, man.
yeah.
Life is good. So whoever's running the show, they're not doing a terrible job at it. I mean, there's always going to be obstacles, right? Homelessness, drug abuse, problems with the addiction and all this stuff. That's a part of humanity. It seems like it's always been around. It's always going to be around. But I don't think any government body is going to change that. I mean, every individual human is making their own choices on these things.
I
Generally.
think people are so scared of politics sometimes is because of like the overlords that have came in and really fucked shit up, like Adolf Hitler, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the guy Kim Jong Un, controlling
Yeah.
the whole country. It's because the result of his policies that like really he really has those people like
Yeah,
locked
that's unfortunately that's from my perspective, I think that's more of a cultural thing, right? There's been many countries that have forced dictators out of their positions. Brazil, most of the South American countries, they've gone through their dictatorship, and they've overran them some way somehow. So the people can rise up. The people can, but lives are going to be lost along the way, man. And if they're really up for it, then
yeah.
I'm sure they could do it. But
Well, like Joe Biden said, you're gonna need more than an AR-15. You're gonna need an F-15 if you want to take over the government.
yeah, yeah, America's a little different,
Yeah.
different beast.
Oh yeah.
But well, man, interesting day, dude. Interesting chat, man. A bunch
Yeah.
of topics.
Yeah.
That's cool though, man. I mean, that's a reason for this uh, open mic, right? Type of vibes is
Right.
that, man, let's just have a conversation. Our art
Right.
has concluded for today. So to the audience, thank you for hanging out. If you enjoyed the video and you want to show some love, the best way to do so is to pick up some merch. Get yourself a t-shirt, hoodie, or some stickers. A link to the shop will be in the description below. If you would like to reach out to me for information for a commission, you could do so through Instagram or through email. And lastly, feel free to share the video and spread the word about the channel. I greatly appreciate the support in helping the channel grow. This is going to be an ongoing thing for the foreseeable future. I want to release a video every Friday with some more random conversations. If you enjoy the conversations, cool. If you just want to watch the video, then hit mute, play your own music, do your own thing. Commercial free. Just enjoy the process of some artwork. George, would you like to say anything in closing, brother?
Just thanks for coming out and doing this little podcast episode with me. I greatly appreciate it, and obviously I'm putting out my art to the world, and I appreciate anybody that also likes what I do and likes what I put on paper. And you're obviously always welcome to hit me up on my Instagram. I do custom pieces. Sometimes I draw and I put it out there. I'm giving this out for free. There's been about 3 or 4 people already that have pieces of mine in their homes that I've either sold to them or just giving them away. It just depends how I feel about it.
Cool.
And obviously this is a hobby of mine, and something I'm good at. Hopefully someday it becomes more, but right now I'm just enjoying the process. And you guys can reach me out to at Ghost Hands on Instagram. And yeah, I appreciate for listening.
Cool. And I'll put all the links in the description. So once again, thanks everyone. And George, appreciate it, brother. And we'll hook up again soon. Hopefully, share some more artwork.
For sure.
To everyone out there in this amazing spiral floating in the middle of outer space. Nobody's saying hello, at least yet. We'll see what happens in the future. But take care, enjoy life, and be kind.